Okay, guys, we are back at it and we will be discussing today's picks and parlays, showing you how to place your bets, how to study the different teams and players if you are newer to sports betting and or newer to banking with Billy sports betting alerts. This will be very educational for you and we will uncover lots of information about these specific teams and players and during the current seasons right now as well. If you are new here, take a second to get subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any updates, any analyses, any early seats. I will begin live streaming the games as well in our live classroom. I'll probably leave them live streaming up there in the eWorld voice chat up there or wherever's going on. Let's get right into it now with how to place your cards. So, on your daily sports bets, as you can see, today's MLB picks. A decent size thing today. What about what's that, like five, maybe seven, eight plays up here? So let's just get right into it. Going for over 11.5 total runs for the Padres at the Rockies. So let's say that, of course, you didn't understand how to read your bet. You didn't understand the teams, and you actually want to get more information. Since the bets are already just put out there for you with the alerts, it's really as simple as matching up your numbers with your teams. But many people would like to get their extra information as well. So you can type that in the chat GPT. Over total runs. The Padres versus the Rockies matchup had a total runs line set at over 11.5. Recent game between these teams have been low scoring in their last three meetings. The Padres shut down out the Rockies, meaning 6-0 to 2-0 and 8-0. If you're betting on the over, consider the Rockies' struggles at the plate and the Rockies' pitching dominance. You might want to check out weather conditions, bullpen fatigue, and lineup changes before locking in your bet. Understand that you do want to see the things on time as well as things do change. But here, of course, you'll be going to get your 11.5 over total runs. Over 8.5 is the close that you're getting right here on what that was the right team. I gotta go back to the Discord and make sure that that was the right team. And you can always join in onto the Bank with Billy Discord, of course, as well, while we break down these classes. Let me show the screen once again. And what we want to do is make sure that your sports bet matches up there. What was that? The Padres versus the Rockies. So you'll be going back to your Padres versus the Rockies. You'll just be scrolling down, see if you can find that somewhere up in there. Padres versus Rockies, over 11.5. Make sure that your numbers match up. I got to go take that previous one off. I pressed on that one accidentally. So your Padres versus Rockies, over 11.5 hits, and you simply match that up with your information that you get from your advanced artificial intelligence, if you even need any more information on that team or that company. Again, since the bets are right there for you, you probably really don't even need too much information. You're probably not too interested in what the stats and stuff like that are. You're just trying to just place the quick bet and just let it do what it do. But some people do like to get that extra information. I like to get that extra information. And here we got Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases, negative 130 for the Dodgers at Diamondbacks. And Shohei Ohtani is a 6 game hitting streak, making over 1.5 total bases, one negative 130 prop and intriguing play for tonight's Dodgers versus Diamondbacks matchup. For you who don't know who that is, you can always paste that in here as well so you can get a bit more information and see who you're about to be betting on and so on and so forth. In recent performance, Ohtani has 11 home runs and 16 RBIs this season, hitting .324 over his last few games with 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 5 home runs against Eduardo Rodriguez. Ohtani has a 3 for 4, 10, 3 for 10 with a home run in his career. Betting insight: Rodriguez has struggled this season with a 5.92 ERA, which could give Ohtani solid opportunities to rack up bases. Of course, these are alerts coming out in our Bank with Billy sports bets. Make sure that you are in there to see those on time. And we are talking about Ohtani over total 1.5 total bases. That's the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks. Got to go find that up in here. Dodgers Diamondbacks. Looking for player props, is it? We'll be going down to looking for total bases. Total bases. And we're looking for Shohei Ohtani. And make sure you match that up. Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases. And boom, you got your over 1.5. When you're placing it, you can just choose into bet it all on one big parlay, or you could probably go down to singles and maybe you believe maybe you are more confident on the Padres at the Rockies for the total 11.5 runs, so you want to bet the 1,000 on that. But maybe you're not too sure about the about Shohei Ohtani. You ain't ever make a bet on him before, so you only want to put $300 on that one. So you're not doing too much, just in case. And so next you'll have Oran Noala for getting over 5.5 strikeouts at the Phillies and the Guardians. Need a bit more information to understand your team and your stats and whatnot to make sure that you're trying to make the most wise invested bet and so on and so forth. So you don't feel like you're just doing everything all willy nilly. And here you got Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola's strikeout prop is set over 5.5, negative 25, 125 for the Phillies versus the Guardians. When you see your negative, that's more, it means it's more, they more confident in there. If you see those numbers are positive, that means they're a little bit less confident up in there. I know it sounds a bit backwards, but let's continue on with his recent performance of Nola has 45 strikeouts this season. His ERA sits at 4.61, showing some inconsistency. He allowed just 7 hits and one earned run over his last two starts. And betting insight, the Guardians have the seventh fewest strikeouts in the majors, making this a tricky bet. If Nola can go deep into the game, he has a solid chance to hit over his bet. And of course, this bet is what was it for Aaron Nola over 5.5 strikeouts, negative 125. We got to go ahead to what team was that? For the Phillies versus the Guardians. We're looking for the Phillies versus your Guardians. You're gonna have to go click on more wagers down there. You got to click on pay your props for a strikeout prop of 5/5. We got to scroll down. You got to find where it says strikeouts. Notice where you can get all kinds of extra fancy things all up in between for you like to place those extra fancy bets and stuff like that. I would recommend just sticking to the guidelines of the bets that are already automatically put out there for you, so you can at least have your consistency in there. You don't have to catch them all, and of course, as you see, you don't have to do too much. But we're going for Aaron Nola's strikeout props. You want to click on strikeouts that there. And you're looking for Aaron Nola over 5.5, negative 125. Match up. Make sure you matching up dates, your numbers, and your timestamps even if need be. That's what the timestamps are there for you. Over 5.5, negative 1.5. Now notice how when you click that, it goes from a 2-bet parlay to what's called now a 3-bet parlay. You can bet on those in whole. Maybe you feel confident on all of it, so you want to put your $7,000 bet on there. Maybe you're too nervous on any of it, so you only want to bet $2,000 because you don't want to do too much. And you can always go down to your singles and whatnot and place your extra specific wagers. Notice how your Aaron Nola is here. You betted 1,000 on your total runs for the Rockies and them down there. You betted your 300 for the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks up there. Now you got your Phillies and Guardians for Aaron Nola to get his over 5.5 strikeouts, which shouldn't be too hard for an individual to reach even. So you might feel confident in on that bet right there. So instead of just putting 1,000, you probably want to put maybe 1,500 on that one, just a little bit less, because you don't want to put too much on there, because remember you still got a few more plays to add to your card, right? So next you're going for your under 7.5 total runs for the Blue Jays at the Mariners. You say you need to know a little bit more information about your Blue Jays at the Mariners, and the Blue Jays versus the Mariners matchup has a total run lines set for under. Remember under how some of these previous ones. I'm glad I just recognize that to make you help you recognize that over and under. So when you're going to place your thing, you're gonna be seeing a O or a U. Don't get confused by that. Okay, I'll show you that here in just 1 second as well. And so the Blue Jays versus Mariners matchup has a total runs line set at under 7.5, and game insights. Luis Castillo has a 3.9 ERA and has held opponents to two .238 batting average, and Kevin Gosman has a 3.83 ERA and a whip of 0.93, making him a solid control pitcher. And the Mariners ranked fourth in home runs this season, while the Blue Jays ranked 28th, suggesting a potential scoring gap. We're looking for under 7.5, 130. Blue Jays at Mariners. Okay, you gotta go back here. Make sure you click on your MLB. MLB. You're looking for your Blue Jays. Blue Blue Jays at Mariners under 7.5 total runs. Under you. Remember we talked about for a second ago. You see your U for under or your O for over. U for under 7.5 total runs. Negative 130. Remember that negative means they a bit more confident on there. You got to notice how your thing turned to a four bet parlay now. You can always wager on all of those, however much you feel fancy. You know, if you feel like it's just safest for you to just go ahead and put your whole 4,000 in there in one hole, that payout is $47,000. But you probably want to don't feel so confident on each and every one. You probably don't the Blue Jays at Marinas under 75. Maybe you don't feel so confident on there because usually those stats read like this or that. So maybe you only want to put maybe you only put 900 on that one. Next, you got the Fernando Tatis Jr. to get over 2.5 bases. Now, again, in some cases, most individuals may already be up to date with their teams and the current seasons and stuff like that. So they won't need the extra information and whatnot. Here, I know many of us may be newer to sports and or newer to sports betting and or newer to AIs and or newer to banking with Billy overall. So it's good to be able to give you your extra information. And I like this information as well as I do study these things day by day. It makes it easier for me to make the videos and update them as I'm digesting more information and learning more. And I'm excited to learn more along with you. So make sure that you do get subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any updates, any analyses, any early seats over on our other channels as well. We do also discuss different stocks and cryptos and top trending news and so on and so forth. Okay. Getting back into it now. Fernando Ortiz, your Fernando Tatis Jr. Let me get back down to your daily bet section. Your Fernando Tatis Jr. is set for a big night against the Rockies with his over 1.5 total bases, negative 225 props looking strong. With recent performance, Tatis is hitting .3019 this season, leading the Padres in a home run 8 and RBIs 19. He has multiple hittings in 40% of games this year against Antonio Centlaza. He is 1 for 3 with a double. Betting insights. Let's see. Make sure I show you the individuals that we speak of so you understand. I probably should have brought this up at the very beginning. We're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. Okay. And betting insights. Santalis has struggled this season with 5.5 ERA, allowing a 3.80 batting average to opponents. With Coors Field's hitter-friendly conditions, Tatis has a strong chance to clear 1.5 total bases. And Antonio Salazar, this guy, for those of you who don't know. I'll make sure I'll be quick to bring up the quick picks of these guys before we read through their quick analyses and all that good stuff like that. So what was that? Fernando Tatis Jr. over 1.5 total bases. You got to go back to your betting app. You looking for the Padres versus the Rockies. All right, you're looking for the Padres versus the Rockies is what you're looking to find. The Padres versus the Rockies. Notice how we already have one up there for over 11.5 total runs, 11.5 total. So we'll be clicking on more wagers down there. You will have to be clicking on player props specifically and make sure you match that up. That was for over 1.5 total bases. It shouldn't be too much of a challenge um for Fernando's Tatis Jr. We're finally looking for total bases on here. Total bases right here. Fernando's Tatis Jr. for over. Make sure you match that up. It has over 1.5 total bases, negative 225. But here in this case, we'll be going for Fernando to do over 2.5 total bases, negative 111. You get as close as you can, of course. Now you have a five bet parlay. You can always decide if you would like to just bet the whole thing. Maybe you want to put your whole how much was that added up to already? 300, a couple thousand. I don't know. We'll just put a couple thousand. Maybe you want to put your whole 3,000, what it is on there so far, I believe. And that payout if all those would hit would be about $56,000. But nonetheless, though, as a beginner, you might want to just go ahead and just place your things individually. You feel confident in Fernando Tatis Jr., so you want to put another 1,300 on him. That'll bring you back to your 2,000. Keep in mind, you can be able to see the total down there with that total wager of 5,000. You're making back almost $10,000 just like that. I believe we have one more to place down here. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is to get over 1.5 total bases. That is for the Blue Jays versus the Mariners. Make sure you be able to see everybody that you have going on. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is supposed to be getting over 1.5 total bases. At the Blue Jays versus the Mariners, check that into your advanced chat GPT to get more information on the specific players and teams. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has 52 total bases this season, maintaining a .27 batting average. His recent performance so mixed results with four total bases against the Boston on May 1st, but only one total base in his last game against Cleveland. Betting insight: Guerrero Jr. has cleared 1 point total bases in five of his last games, showing some volatility. The Mariners pitching staff ranks top 10 in ERA, making this a tough matchup. If Guerrero Jr. can capitalize on fastball heavy pitchers, he has a solid chance to hit the over 1.5 total bases. At the Blue Jays versus the Mariners, you got to go back to your MLB down there. You're gonna be looking for your Blue Jays versus Mariners. You'll be clicking on more wagers. Notice how we already got one for the under 7.5 total down there on the Mariners, and we're looking for um player props for over total basis. You right here, the total basis. You'll click on that. You're looking for your Vladimir Guerrero Jr. right there, getting over 1.5 total bases, I believe. Make sure you match that up and match up your dates and time stamps. Make sure it's not too late and all that good stuff like that, of course. And then you add that on. You now got a six bet parlay. Going back to your singles, like I say, so you can click on your individual wagers. Maybe you feel more confident in Guerrero Jr. because you done seen some good some you like the information you read and you've been seeing him all in his recent games and so on and so forth. So maybe you probably want to bet the most on that one. You probably want to add an extra 2,000 to that one right there or whatever you feel you got going on. Next you got Tarik Skubal over 6.5 total strikeout. Tarik Skubal over 6.5 total strikeout. We'll go ahead and find yo Tarik Skubal very fast as well while we here. Tarik Skubal is strikeout prop is set over 6.5, negative 6.165 for the Tigers versus Rangers. Recent performance: Skubal has averaged 6.9 strikeouts per game in 2025. Over his last games, he has maintained a 6.5 strikeout per game average. The Rangers lineup has struggled against the highest strikeout pitchers, making this a favorable spot for Skubal. With Skubal's consistency at the Rangers' tendency to swing aggressively, he has a strong chance to clear 6.5 strikeouts. Make sure you match it up. What was that? Tariq Skubal over 6.5. Rangers versus the Tigers. You're going to have to go back to your MLB. Click on your Rangers versus your Tigers. Click on your player props down there for him to get over 6.5 strikeouts. You got to scroll down there. You got to find your strikeouts you're looking for Tariq Skubal. Make sure you match that up. Says for 6.5 strikeouts, negative 165. The negative number meaning a bit more confident. Tariq, what I say, over 6.5. So Tariq Skubal over 6.5, negative 170. You get as close as you can, turning you into a seven bet parlay. That's even if you such a big better because you don't have to get all of them. And you say that you most confident in Tariq Skubal, so you gonna put the you willing to put the whole $3,000 into his one time on Tariq Skubal just to give him a chance and hope that he really bring you back that big wager to make your win and play out tonight. Oh, I say this one is suspended. Okay. Let's see if we can click on that again. Why you just say that? I never seen that before. Okay. Going back down. What was that at? Strikeouts? That strikeouts. Huh. They just took his thing off of there? Oh, that player just got suspended? And they just suspend Tarik Skubal? Yeah, Tarik Skubal will be out there going, yeah, guess he going too crazy out there, huh? Well, then nonetheless, though, that still leave you with, that was the first time I just seen a play just get taken off just like that. And say suspended up there before. But after all of those, 14 to 100,000, you could place those, and of course, like I said, you could place those in a full on thing if you would like, for you all that you just bet over there for all those singles that just added up to the amount to over 5,000. If you would have just actually just bet that on the whole thing, that $7,000 bet you just took all those individually. If it won, you just came up on 300,000, $66,000. It's just crazy. But that's how you place your things. We could dive in deeper into how the other picks and parlays and stuff like that. But I'm sure you pretty much got the gist of it there. In fact, why we here, why not? You said you want to go for the Golden Knights. Of course, make sure that you go ahead and get your extra information up in there to be able to type that in. In fact, those are yesterday's plays. We're not even gonna be able to look that up. Actually, we're gonna have to come back into that well when they update. But that gives us a chance to be able to make another video on this as well. But I'm Billy Bank. Get subscribed. Make sure that you do check out the other channels as well. As we do make videos on the stocks and the options and the cryptos and the top trending news. Getting ready to make a news video next. Check out your Banking with Billy books up and published on your phone's app download store and prepare for your Bank with Billy trading cards. This will be a fully integrated battle trading dual system. They're about to have automatically set up for tournaments in the Discord with the Billy bots. Very excited to do that. I'm Billy Banks. I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Happy trade.